Yeah, thank you. My name is Chad Miller, and I am running for County Judge of Wise County.
Mark Gary, GOP Chair.
Mike Drury, GOP Chair.
J-Ro Trample, County Attorney.
Lucretia Biggerstaff, District Clerk.
J.D. Clerk, County Judge.
Andy Hopper, Texas House District 64.
Catherine Hudson, County Treasurer.
Is that everybody? All right, round of applause. All right, and now I'd like to introduce Jill Glover, our SREC. She'll be overseeing this forum tonight. Jill. Oh. All right, good evening, everybody. How are y'all? I'm so glad to see you again. We had a great forum last time, and I'm thrilled that such a great crowd came back out tonight. And so hopefully you will get some really great information from these candidates. I'm thrilled we have so many good people stepping up to run for office. And so hopefully tonight you'll get to know them a little bit better so that you can make a really good informed decision for your next elected officials. We're going to start off with the SD12 Senate race. So if those candidates would go ahead and come forward, please. And we have Tan Parker and Chris Russell. How are you? Good to see you. You bet. And Chris. Did I say state senate? Yes. Okay, good. All right, excellent. So the way that we're going to do the forum tonight is each candidate gets a 1-minute intro, and then they will get 2 minutes to close. They will get 1 minute for each question. We have got Karen being our timekeeper again. Karen will give you a yellow sheet when you've got 15 seconds left, and she will give you the pink sheet when your time is up. So we're going to be really good and strict about times. So I will go ahead and begin, and Dan, I'll let you go first since you're sitting closest to me. If you'll take 1 minute, and then we'll swap to close.
Absolutely. Thank you, Jill. First of all, please thank Jill Glover for the work she does for Texas and SRC. You're a big round of applause. She travels the state as a volunteer and does amazing work every day for the state and for our party. Listen, my name is Tan Parker, and I have the honor and blessing of being a state representative serving Denton County. It's been a tremendous privilege to do that over the years. My wife and I really view it as a ministry to serve and give back. As you all know, in the Texas legislature, we are really citizen lawmakers. It's the way the founding fathers envisioned government to work. So not only do I work as your representative in Austin in the House today for Denton County and for the state, but I serve every day as a business person as well, providing for my family. So I want you to understand that that makes me a better lawmaker and better prepared to tackle the issues that are before us today. In my time in the legislature, I've been blessed to be the Republican Majority Leader. I've chaired committees as diverse as corrections over our prison systems, the chairing financial services and investments. My wife and I have been married for 27 years. We're blessed to have 2 beautiful baby girls, not so young anymore. One's a senior in college, will graduate from A&M shortly, and one's a freshman in college. But it's an honor to run for this seat. I'm excited to get to know more of you here in Wise County. It's been a wonderful privilege to get to know you here in recent months. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Well, my name is Chris Russell, and I want to thank you all for being here tonight and giving us the opportunity to speak to you and learn a little bit about us. I have been a Texas resident my whole life. I was born and raised here. I've been in District 12 for 35 years. I started a business in 1996 that I still run today. I started another business in 1999 that I still run today. I'm a hands-on day-to-day guy. Sometimes you say you're a business owner, and it's more like you bought stock, and so I only share in Microsoft, so I'm a owner of Microsoft. I have 3 children, and I have never ran for office before, so maybe I'm not the greatest speaker in the world, but I really appreciate you guys giving me the opportunity to speak here. Our questions come tonight from some local organizations, and so the first one is from the Wise County Republican Party.
Item 14 of the Texas GOP platform is to harden the power grid. While some measures were taken to improve this in the 2021 legislative session, more needs to be done. What legislation will you enact to assure Texans that the power grid has the ability to sustain another freeze such as we had in February of 2021? And Chris, we will let you go first.
Great. Yes, there were a couple of bills that were addressed that gave an immediate address to administrative needs, but there were a couple of other needs that were overlooked, or maybe not overlooked, maybe just weren't addressed. And one of those had to do with cybersecurity. That wasn't addressed at all. I don't know that that's been an issue in Texas yet, but it is a substantial problem. We've seen it happen in the United States, and it could happen in Texas. And that is a bill that I believe needs to be put forward and addressed as soon as possible.
So, first of all, let me apologize to everyone in this room. What happened in February with our grid should never have occurred. Never should have occurred. It was complete abject failure of Texas leadership. We have a whole new PUC today, a whole new membership on ERCOT, and we have to take this issue extraordinarily seriously. As a representative, when it occurred, I, of course, was in triage mode, working to take care of nursing homes and to take care of folks, get the power back on. And as soon as it was over, we spent literally every day of that session for the next 60 days focused on nothing but the grid, securing it and protecting it. I've been focused on this issue for a long time. I carried legislation as far back as 2015 and 2017 that would have actually provided an assessment of where we are with regard to our cyber infrastructure, with regard to where we are with EMP, electromagnetic pulse, and where we are with regard to naturally occurring events. In 2017, I passed that bill in the House. Unfortunately, didn't make it through the Senate. I'm also the author of the Texas Lone Star Infrastructure Protection Act. So I'm very involved in this issue and look forward to protecting us, making sure the lights are always on.
Thank you. Tan, we will let you have this one next. This is from the Wise County Conservatives. What is the role of government?
Well, the role of government is limited. Everything that I look at is that we need to provide a framework in which people can be successful. That's the minimum layer of regulatory involvement. It means being hands-off, allowing businesses to thrive, citizens to prosper, entrepreneurs to be successful. There was a reference earlier to what we do occupationally and so on and so forth. And what I do, just so you know, is I specifically work on turning around companies, investing in companies, and protecting our future. So I want you to know that I take those issues very seriously, and I look forward to tackling this matter as we go forward. We have enormous issues that are facing Texas, as well as enormous opportunities. And I look forward to tackling them and working with you. At the end of the day, we have to be collaborative and find solutions that solve the problems that we're facing.
Okay, thank you.
I believe the role of government is to protect our borders. I believe the role of government is to take care of social failures and to be as limited and small as possible. And I don't think that's what we see today. I don't think we see it at the federal level, and I don't believe that we see it at the state level. I think our government is overblown, it has too much money, and that is a problem with people that don't run a business every day, that you have a chance to earn money and you respect that money. You know how much it costs, it's easy to spend money, it's hard to earn it. And when you're sensitive to that, you take action on it. And, I'll give you an example like, I don't want to give you an example, I'm sorry. But I will say that, the job of government and the job of Ann and I, whoever ends up representing you, is to be your voice, is to represent you in Austin, to stand before the state legislator, or to put forward a voice into the federal government to represent you as your voice.
And Chris, we're going to let you take on this one next from the Wise Republican Women. How do you think we can best stop the government and businesses from forcing mandates for medical procedures and vaccines?
Okay, well, first off, that's totally unconstitutional. We have the freedom of persons. We have our individual freedoms. If you're talking to the overreach of government by the OSHA mandates, that's an obvious overreach, and I believe that we found out very recently that the Supreme Court has decided that was an overreach as well. I guess there are certain times when there's a pandemic that occurs and it's uncharted territory and it's easy to look back and judge our government officials and the things that they did and all the mistakes that they made. They also had to do what they had to do to keep us all safe, and Corona or COVID, it was unknown. So, for that, I think you have to somewhat give them a vibe looking back, but moving forward, there should be no more excuses.
Okay.
Well, obviously, I'm thrilled with the decision that came out of the Supreme Court today. We've been in Texas fighting to defend Texas against this federal government encroachment on all of our liberties and all of our freedoms. And so I'm delighted that we saw the Supreme Court that now obviously has some great new conservatives. Thank you, President Donald Trump, for getting a great ruling today out of the Supreme Court. A great victory for the states and for the country. Look, the number one issue facing all of us today in this state is the federal government encroachment. Masks, mandates, whatever we're talking about, this garbage that came down that was forcing employers to have to force their people to be vaccinated. All of that today now has been turned upside down, thank God. We've been fighting in Texas. We need to continue to fight. We work closely with our Attorney General and our team in Austin to make certain that Texas always stands strong and independent. And that's really the role of government, to be limited, but to protect your people and allow your people to prosper at every opportunity and to push back on Washington when it's inappropriate behavior is occurring.
Thank you. Concerned Women for America asks, in the last Texas legislative session, they failed to protect our children from pornographic material in our schools when SB 977 failed to pass. SB 977 would have removed the exemption from prosecution when obscene or pornographic material is introduced and used for educational purposes. Many books are now in our school libraries and curriculum that have pornographic content. Pornography has no educational value whatsoever, but serves to dehumanize others and groom children to accept and practice it. What can and will you do to ensure this pornography, already outlawed from children's consumption, does not continue to have an exemption under the guise of education? Pam?
Well, thank you. Look, there's nothing more precious to me than our children collectively. Our babies, our grandbabies. I've spent so many years working to protect our children. I was the first person in Texas to lead on a bill that became really the first in the country to protect children from child sexual abuse. I was the first Republican in the legislature to lead on stopping human trafficking. This is no different. This is abuse of our children. This nonsense needs to stop. And certainly I'm disappointed that this bill that Jill has referenced did not move this session. Certainly I would have supported it and voted for it had it come to the floor. Unfortunately, in the legislative process with 140 days, we can't get all of our priorities done sometimes, particularly this year was so challenging because of the crisis with the storm in February and dealing with COVID. We still had COVID protocols and so forth. But there's no excuse that we didn't get it done. I will do everything in my power to make certain it's done in the future, and I will carry that legislation myself in the Senate, along with Senator Bob Hall, who worked on it, I believe, last time.
Okay, thank you. Chris?
This is just an appalling thing that I think has snuck up on us, and it continues today. I'm surprised that a bill would just sit and allow something to harm our children, things like grooming our children and some of the books that are made available to them. I can tell you that one of our neighbors in our district, not in Wise County, but one of our neighbors did recently experience that. There was a book called My First Butterfly Kiss, and her and her entire 6th grade class was required to read it. And I can't tell you how heart-wrenching it was to listen to the dad explain to me what the school was doing. It breaks my heart. I have 3 kids. I have a daughter. And so there's just no excuse for it.
Thank you. All right, for this next question from the Patriot Society in Boyd, I'm going to let Carrie Barron ask the question.
Thank you. Thank you. The invasion of the southern border has now turned every city and every town in America into a border town. Make no mistake, this is an invasion in which our current state government is choosing to ignore. Texas resources and monies are being spent on something we did not create. What is your solution?
My first, Mr. Russell.
Chris.
Chris.
Great. All right, well, first off, I'm glad you phrased the question the way you did, because this really bothers me that the state of Texas is having to pick up the tab of a duty that is the responsibility of the federal government. You know, their job is to protect our borders, and it's obviously there's a problem at our borders. The bigger problem at our borders is the crime that's coming across. The fact that it's wide open, and the whole world knows it. That means that terrorists and criminals and, you know, cartel, they can do anything they want to do, and they know that we're crippled up and can't do much about it. Fortunately, Governor Abbott and the last session, they were able to at least put forward some money to continue the process. And I really hope that the federal government will return the funds back to the Texas taxpayers.
Well, this is the issue in my assessment. As I talked about the federal government encroachment on Texas and our lives and our liberties, it's also about their incompetency, and in some cases, like the border, where they're trying to change the dynamics of Texas, to change the dynamics of the country. That's what this president and the Oval Office is doing today. And so, you know, I'm very proud of the fact that we have appropriated, I voted for, since March of 21, approximately $3 billion of Texas taxpayer money to secure our border. Additional resources, equipment, obviously manpower, and $250 million to continue the border wall that President Donald Trump started. Thank God we're doing that. But we've got a lot more work to do. You know, at the end of the day, I want to take that invoice for $3 billion to the White House and deliver it to the president, because the federal government, as Chris said, should be paying for it. But the reality is that we can't sit back and wait. This is where Chris and I disagree. We have to act in Texas. We have to stand up and protect our way of life and our state for the country, and for all 30 million people that call Texas home. It's essential that we do so.
Thank you.
All right, we have got a few additional audience questions, and the first one has to do with election integrity, and I believe, Tian, you take this one first. An election integrity bill was, or several bills actually were passed this past legislative session, but we have since learned that what was passed was not as robust as we had initially hoped and anticipated that it would be. What do you think needs to be done to ensure that we have fair and honest elections in the state of Texas?
Well, thank you, Jill. I remember working and talking about these issues in the middle of the session with you on a regular basis. Look, I carried 4 specific bills myself on election integrity this session. One of which, and it's all from the House of Representatives perspective, one was a bill to go ahead and have videotaping of all the entire counting process. Early votes, those that come by mail, those that happen on election day. We need to have eyes and ears as to what's happening. I also filed bills to create an inventory of all the equipment involved in the voting process, so you can't plug and play some nefarious actor, something that would be, you know, a jump drive into one of our key systems that's now part of our voting channel. We got to make certain beyond that we have actual ID required on those that do a mail-in ballot. That wasn't the case. I carried that bill here this session. And a number of these elements that I carried for in particular found themselves in the original bill that passed that Jill is referencing. But no, it's not enough. We need to do continuous monitoring and improvement. We need to call, I've called for a 4th special session to go and address these issues and to straighten it up now before the next cycle. These are very, very important issues for the future of Texas.
Okay, thank you. Chris?
Yeah, I'd like to start out by saying that I've learned a lot about election and election integrity. Initially I thought that it was a bunch of smoke and mirrors that was being politically pushed. You know, a lot of things do get politically pushed. They get picked up by the media, and they get picked up by the tabloids, and they end up getting picked up by social media. And for too long, and you know, we're all fighting back and forth over things that are silly. I recently did a great deal of research into this, and I found out really how prolific it is. And I did happen to look at your bills. I think they were some good bills and some good steps forward. I don't think that we're done with it, and I think that there's also a problem with enforcing the laws that are on the books. So I think there's 2 things to do. One is better enforcement, and the second thing is to continue to work forward with election integrity with making sure that all votes are counted.
Okay, thank you, Chris. And we'll let you have this one next. What is your plan to provide property tax relief to Texans?
Oh gosh, property tax is out of control. I think we all know that. We've all seen our property values shoot up, and that's all fun and exciting until the tax man comes at the end of the year and wants to collect for the ISD and the county tax, the state tax, the tax that we pay, which is based on a fixed percentage. So when our houses go up 20%, so does pretty much our property tax. It goes up at the same rate. And there's really no justification that I can see where the demand on county resources or the demand on the ISDs would be significantly moved at the same rate. And so for that reason, we need to have some limits, and we need to have some better oversight over the appraisal districts that assess our property values. A lot of times we live in our homes for 30 years and we take a look back and we may not be able to dispute what the central appraisal district is saying, and I can guarantee whatever money that they take, they're not going to give it back.
Okay.
Well, I wish we had more time to talk on some of these topics. I could talk for hours about each of them. But on the previous question, just so you know, there's nothing more fundamentally critical to me. It is the essence of our democracy to have election integrity. And, I appreciate Chris learning these issues and getting up to speed on them, but these are things that we need to hit the ground running and continuously work to address. On property taxes, look, we all are frustrated with the fact that every day when you pay off your home, you're continuing to pay the government still. We all have that frustration. Over the years, we've appropriated multiple billions of dollars. I voted for billions of dollars in property tax relief for each of you multiple times over the years. This most recent time, we now have a Homestead Exemption that we now have put in place, that with everyone's support we will put in place now that we've passed that in the legislature. But those billions of dollars cast the budget. It goes up every time from roughly $250 billion to be another $2 to $3 billion every cycle. So the challenge is that we got to find a way to control government. We need appraisal reform. I filed legislation historically to address the challenge of appraisals. We've seen issues just as recently as the last 2 weeks in Denton County with appraisal boards that need more accountability. But we also need to look, obviously, at other models. Can we move and shift the consumption tax to a greater degree?
Dan, I'm going to stop you there. Okay, this next one is for you. The legislature failed to protect our children against surgical and chemical gender modification, which is important because not only are we preventing the mutilization of kids, but we're also making a statement that you cannot change from one gender to another or from one sex to another. What can and will you do to stop this brutalization of kids in Texas?
My question? Well, look, I talked earlier about the fact that I have really, all of the years I've been blessed to serve in the legislature, protecting our children is the most critical thing to me, aside from the items we've talked about tonight. There's nothing more essential than protecting our precious children. And so I view this as abuse, and I'm disgusted that we did not pass that bill. It should have passed during the regular session before the end of May. It should have passed in any number of the 3 special sessions that we had since that time. And I've called for a 4th special session where we take that up along with the election integrity issue and working on border security further. But look, it is absolutely wrong. I was the joint author, just so you know, on all that legislation. I attended press conferences with Jill on this very topic. It should have moved. It should have made it through the process and come to the floor. The children of Texas deserve better, and you can be assured that I will fight for this. I will carry legislation on this topic myself in the Senate, and we will get it resolved if it takes till next session to do so. Again, I want to resolve it now in the interim, but it is abuse of our children, pure and simple.
Okay, thank you. Chris?
I agree with Tam. This is nothing more than abuse. If you try to force a child into changing their physical appearance and making lifelong decisions, allowing them to do that, and if the parent is backing it up, it's just straight up abuse. Normally, I am always behind the parents and the parents' right to decide for their children. But children have to be protected, and they're not old enough or developed enough to understand the changes that they're making. And it is absolutely unacceptable for them to do this, or anybody to be pushing this forward. There should have been a better solution. And, when it comes to children, and it comes to seniors, disabled veterans, people that need somebody to stand up and speak for them, those things should immediately go to the forefront. And it's embarrassing that it didn't. And I'm not assigning any blame other than maybe a group of people that got on the plane and went to Washington.
Okay, thank you. All right, if you will indulge me, this very last question is my question. The state delegate of the delegates of the Republican Party of Texas, every 2 years at state convention, choose legislative priorities. We chose 8 this last time around. We got one fully, we got constitutional carry, which was wonderful, and then we got parts of 3 more of our priorities. We did not get the remaining 4. Will you commit to doing everything that you can to file bills and pass those Republican legislative priorities?
Chris will go first.
And yes, Chris, you would go first.
Okay, the answer to your question is yes. I mean, I don't know what more you want me to say to that, that I just totally agree with that. I don't think that there should be constraints on, just regular, Texans that want to carry a gun. Why, well, because I filed my paperwork and I got a license by a regulatory authority, that now I have more permission to do something than the next guy. If you're sane and you're not a criminal and you take care of your guns and you want to carry a gun, then do it, because that way we keep criminals off balance. They don't go into a place knowing that they have a gun and nobody else does. So the answer is just yes.
Okay.
I appreciate Mr. Russell's response, and I will answer it as well. But I want folks to know that Mr. Russell's commentary on Ballotpedia, on things that he's written, he's against many of these priority items of the Republican Party. He did not support the heartbeat bill. In a previous debate that we had, he really referred to election integrity as bumper sticker politics. He doesn't take the border issues seriously. So I want folks to understand, when I commit to you tonight to the platform of the Republican Party, I am focused on passing the platform of the Republican Party. And so I will work with Jill and I will work with our other SRAC members to get it done. And you can hold me accountable for that. Again, it doesn't matter whether or not we're talking about the essence of life. I protect and fight for life from conception to natural death. The fact that with the heartbeat bill, working with my good friend Brian Hughes, we will save hundreds of babies every day, was one of the most incredible accomplishments that we've ever been blessed to have in this country since Roe v. Wade.
Okay. And
So bottom line is I'm 100% on board.
okay, thank you. We've got the stop on that, and now we are at the 2-minute wrap up. And so, Chris, we will let you go first since Dan went first on the open. So you've got 2 minutes for your close.
Okay, I'll take a little bit of that time just to address the last 3 remarks. I don't know what you're reading on Ballotpedia, but those are not my positions. Those aren't the positions that I stated here for you today. That was my position, and I said so earlier as it relates to the bumper sticker politics. Because I did say that, and I learned since then. And so, that's what I think being a good citizen legislator is all about: is being able to listen to people. You don't do as much talking. You shut up and you listen and you learn, and then you hear what people have to say. The other thing is the Texas heartbeat bill. If you listen to a politician they'll tell you it's a great thing. What that did was it pushed 50% increase in abortions in Arkansas, Oklahoma, and in Kansas. All it did was push abortions outside of the state of Texas. It's a 10 bill. That's not how you fix the problem, hitting neighbor against neighbor. They didn't actually fix anything like they did in Mississippi. They didn't fix things like they did in Oklahoma. What they said is that we all need to go and police it and file suit, and for doing so, we'll write it into law that you can get $10,000. That's not the way you fix things. It's Roe v. Wade. When Texas signed the Constitution and agreed with the rest of the states of the United States that we would abide by the Constitution, that also means that we will abide by the Supreme Court's decision. Sometimes they're in favor of what we like, sometimes they're not. And if we don't like it, we can change the Constitution. That's the beauty of the Constitution, is that we are able to change the Constitution, that we're able to make a change. And why we don't do that, why that's not the tack, why that doesn't happen, well, I guess we have to look to Washington for that. Thank you.
Well, I'm first of all just so grateful for all of you taking time away tonight from your families and your businesses to be here. It means the world to us to see people involved and caring about the future of this state and the country. I believe in the exceptional nature of this country and the exceptional nature of Texas. And if we don't preserve and protect it, we will lose the country. The future of America depends on a strong Texas. It's just that simple. And so when I commit to making certain that we follow through with Republican planks, I will do so. I will work with you. There are many people in this room that I've worked with over the years on policies to get things done. I'm about results. I'm about solutions. And again, I'm very grateful that Mr. Russell is running for office. It's the people's seat. This is not my seat. It's our seat. It's the people of Senate District 12. But I think it's important that you all know the distinction. He's a wonderful, very kind man. But it's important that you know that Mr. Russell has never voted before in a Republican primary. It's important for you to know that he is learning about these issues, which is great. And we welcome that. But the people of Wise County need a senator that will hit the ground running and be able to be successful and effective from day one in that legislative body. You know, I know how to be successful as a former Republican leader of the House for many years, for being chairman of different committees, again, as diverse as financial services and investments and pensions to our prison systems. All the complexities of these policies and programs. And most of all, I want you to know I want to hear from you. I'm only as good as the feedback I get from each of you in the constituency. I want to hear from you. I worked hard to be the most accessible member of the House in the Texas House, period, over the years I've served. I'll work hard to be the most accessible senator as well. I meet with people every day of the week, and the first Saturday of every month, without appointment, from 8 to 10 in my district office all these years, people will come and have a cup of coffee and a donut and tell me what's on their mind. I want to be accessible. I'm only as good as the feedback I get from each of you. But I want you to know that I've been fighting for the going to the March for Life since I was 18 years old, and will continue to fight for all of our key priorities if given the opportunity and the blessing of being your senator. Thank you for the time tonight.
Thank you, gentlemen. That's it. Next, we will have the county clerk candidates. If they would please make their way to the front, the county clerk candidates. I'm going to give the timekeeper a second to get back down to her spot. So the way this will work, for this particular race, each candidate gets a 1-minute intro, and then you've got 5 organization questions that you have 1 minute each for, and no closing statement. So make your pitch in your intro for yourself. And are you ready, Karen? Are you ready? Okay, good. So I tell you what, since we started closest to me the last time, we'll start on the other end this time, and I'll let you introduce yourself. And are you ready? They have got, you know what, you're right, they've got 3 questions. I said 5 questions, it's 3. Yes, correct. Go ahead.
All right. Good evening. I am Raquel Gasperson, better known as Rocky Gasperson. I was born and raised in Wise County. I am excited to be here. I want to thank you for being here, because with you being here lets me know that you are interested in the election of the county clerk.
Okay. Can you hear me?
My background in working, I worked for the Wise County District Clerk and Adult Probation. I was a law enforcement police officer for 20 years in the Metroplex. I am excited to be running for the election of county clerk. My education, I have a master's in accounting and a bachelor's in, bachelor in government.
That's it.
Wait, you want to say your name one more time because you didn't have the mic before?
Oh, okay, Rocky Gasperson.
If you'll pass the mic down, that would be great. Sorry, we only have one, so we're going to have to share.
All right, good evening. I want to start off by thanking the Wise County Republican Party, the Wise County Conservatives, the Wise County Republican Women, and the Patriot Society Board. I can't forget y'all. And thank you to Rise Church for hosting this. My name is Blanca Tuma. My husband and I have been married for 10 years. His name is James. We have a beautiful daughter named Ainsley. She's over there. She thinks I'm the coolest mom tonight. Okay, I get mom points. And we have lived in Wise County for a little over 11 years. She goes to school at Decatur. My daughter does. Sherry Lemon hired me in 2013 as one of her deputy clerks. And it has been an absolute honor, looking at you, Sherry, it has been an honor to be in your office and for you to mentor me for the last 8 years. And my mission as county clerk would definitely be to protect and preserve the records of Wise County. They're so important. They're a lifeline of our county, our past, present, and future. So I would appreciate your vote. Thank you.
Hi, I'm John Curry, and it's wonderful to be here tonight again with all my compatriots. I'd like to thank the organizers of this event and the church for hosting it. It's a wonderful thing. It's a great opportunity for us to get out and hear, for you to hear our voices and know who we are. I am a native Texan, born in San Antonio, moved around a bit, moved back to Mesquite in about 1974, met my wife Sharon, and got married in 1983 down in Dallas. In 1987, I felt the need to join the Air Force, so together I joined the Air Force and she went along for the ride. 21 years later, after going around a bit, we ended up in Wise County in 2008. Needed a job, applied for the Wise County Clerk's office. My wife still accuses me of stealing her position. And Miss Lemon said she liked me, hired me the next day, and 13 years later, here we are. Along with Blanca, I love working with Miss Lemon. She's been one of the best bosses I've ever had. Thank you. And that's it. Thank you.
My name is Walter Harvey, and it's an honor and a privilege to have the opportunity to be here tonight. For the last 17 years, I've worked as a patrolling landman, been in and out of courthouses 40 hours a week, every week for the last 17 years. This makes me uniquely qualified to lead your county clerk's office. I intend to bring a high level of service, commitment to transparency, honesty, and integrity to serve all the residents of Wise County. I first came to Decatur as the assistant manager of the Safeway store. I have a strong management background running crews and right-of-way crews and crews that do title research. I hold a Texas Real Estate Commission right-of-way license. I'm a member of the American Association of Professional Landmen, have been for about 20 years, and I certainly subscribe to their code of ethics. I spent 10 years down here working for James Wood, and one thing he taught me was to always remember no one ever buys something from somebody they don't like. My basic belief is to treat others the way I want to be treated and leave things in better shape than when I found them. I've sat down with our county auditor, and I have studied the budget and worked hard to continue to improve this office.
All right, thank you very much. All right, I'm going to let you start with our first question, and it is, what leadership skills do you bring to the position that you seek?
Yeah. You can find that.
Okay. So recently, with the downturn in the oil and gas business, I took a job as a census taker. After about 2 or 3 days, they moved me up to manager. We overhauled a lot of the problems and stuff that the Census Bureau had in the area getting to people because they would send us out to well locations. They'd send us to houses that were blown away in the tornado in 2015. There were a lot of problems, so we tried with the group that I was in to focus and to lead that group and to get the results that we needed. Those are the kind of things that I bring to the table.
I'd like to say that my very first job as a librarian aide, I've had leadership positions in all those things. People would come to me for help. I worked at Love Field for a while as what's called a lead lineman, so every job I've ever had, I've been a leader in and a position in. Instead of joining the Air Force and obviously move up the ranks in leadership there, at one point I had 80 some odd young airmen and women under me. Also, I was a squadron security manager with about 1,000 people's worth of security things under me. So then I moved into this county and took this job. I think Ms. Lemon has relied on me to help out in the office. I like to think I'm a leader there. I guess technically I'm considered to be the records room manager. I don't know what that means totally, but I am in charge of the records room. So that's where I stand. I think my leadership has been evident through all the jobs I've had. Everybody I feel like has relied on me, so thank you.
All right, that's a great question. I believe that I am very qualified for the position. I have over 13 years of experience in customer service. 5 of those years I was actually a training store manager, helping other store managers be successful in their field. 8 years in the county clerk's office, and I am the liaison to County Court at Law 1. And I think I'm unique as a candidate because I am bilingual. I help out a lot, not only in the court department, but also upstairs in our vital records. And I do help do birth certificates, translating, and helping our Spanish-speaking customers. So,
yes, in my working as a law enforcement for 10 years, I was management over criminal records of 3 universities. I was over the security of the campuses of 3 universities. In my other jobs I have held, I was supervisor. I enjoy making sure that my staff is trained and that they're right beside me or can do better than me. I'm always happy to see people that are willing to learn and do better than myself, because that lets me know that I'm doing a good job of training and letting people learn and improve themselves.
Thank you. All right, John, we're going to let you have this one next. Why did you decide to run for this position?
Well, as I said, I started with the office 13 years ago. Ms. Lemon was gracious enough to bring me on board. I've worked with Ms. Lemon closely for the 13 years. She's helped me and guided me and relied on me, I think. She always puts me in positions where I'm able to help everybody. I would like to continue where she's taken us. In 31 years, she's taken this office from no computers at all to almost completely computerized. She's got a lot of plans that I'd like to see completed. I also want to follow along with the plans we've talked about that she won't be able to get done before she leaves office. So there's ways to go for the office that I think I can take this place to. There's things that I'd like to see done around the office. Ms. Lemon concentrated on one set of things. There's some things I'd like to concentrate on. I hope I mentioned the question correctly, but I think that I can lead this office into where it needs to go in the future. There's a place we need to go. Ms. Lemon has made this path. I'd like to follow on her path, add to it. So thank you.
that's a good answer. I'm running solely on the fact that I am so passionate about what we do in the clerk's office. Our office is so important. If you live in the county, you at least one time in your life will come into our office, and that is so special to me. Just being able to serve our customers and just do all the things that are required as clerks. Just my passion for what we do and just helping others and finding, we are the records keeper and of the most important of our vital records, of the most important records that we have in the county. So it's just very special to me and dear to my heart, and that's all I have.
All right, ditto on both of these. And also, working in the auto registration office, we have a lot of people moving into Wise County right now. I see it every day with the new vehicles being registered and people moving in and paying their property taxes. I know that Sherry has done a good job, and the county clerk's office is going to be getting bigger with a lot more records. And like Blanca said, we are the keeper of the people's records, their personal records. I like to call it the guardian of the people's record. And the other thing is, I like to know that the county clerk's office is one of few offices that it's still the people's office. You do have a say in the county clerk's office because it's your records. And, okay, thank you.
Well, I think that's a great question. Why did Walter Harvey decide to run for the county clerk's job? Well, I guess the biggest catalyst for me was the fact that Ms. Lemon was going to step down. I think she's done an outstanding job. I've been in and out of the Wise County Courthouse off and on as a landman for a number of years. But I've also worked in a lot of other counties, and I've seen how things are done there. Did you know that you can go to the Denton County website and get a copy of a deed for free? But if you go to the Wise County website, you're going to have to pay $1 for it. Those are the kind of things that I want to help Wise County overcome. I want us to be just as forward-thinking as they are in any of the counties around us. If you go down and get yourself a marriage certificate, you're going to pay about $26 for it. $25.25 of that goes to the state. Well, my job is going to be to lobby those guys down in Austin to get that money to stay here in this county. We don't need to send that money to Austin. These people are the ones that have been doing the records, so we need to keep that money here.
Thank you. Blanca, we'll let you start off with this next question. What issue do you feel like will be most important in this role in the next 4 years? Yes, in this particular job, what issue will be most important in the next 4 years?
Oh my goodness. The biggest issue that I see, I mean, I'll tell you what, I've lived in the county for 11 years, and just going out and campaigning, beating on people's doors, let me put a sign out, it is insane, our growth. Okay, I know everyone, can I get an amen? Our growth is, it's happening, you guys. There's no stopping it. Our city, our county is growing, and so with that being said, that is our biggest hurdle we're coming to. And I know a lot of us, we're torn. Some of us are we want to keep our county, so it's the inevitable. We're going to grow. So I definitely think that is our biggest challenge in our future. And I think as the county clerk's office, Sherry has trained us superb, and we're ready to take it on. We're ready to do this. So that is my answer.
Could you repeat the question, please?
Yes. What issue do you feel will be the most important one in your role in the next 4 years?
Just making sure that the county clerk office will be able to handle what's fixing to hit us or what's already come to the office. We're going to be responsible for a lot more criminal records, marriage license, birth certificates, death certificates, and I would like to make sure that the records are available to senior citizens, that they know how to walk in and be able to get their records without having to learn how to use the computer. I see that a lot. And then you have the younger generation that knows how to use the computers, which is fine. I just want to make sure that the office is open to all ages, the senior citizens and the young.
I agree with the other two. Obviously, growth in this county is going to be the big thing. So the biggest challenge to my office is how to deal with the growth. And the biggest challenge, I think, is how to add to the staff. We're going to need people to deal with the situation. We're going to need people to deal with the new records coming in, the greater amount of criminal records, the greater amount of land records. I'm already seeing that back-to-back questions, helping people find things, plats, and in my daily job back in the back, I answer questions all day long from people all over the county, in and out of state. I'm working with somebody in Illinois right now. It's a mineral interest. Trying to get her the right information she needs to get the proper mineral interest to the right people. So growing the staff is going to be the biggest challenge. We're going to have to find ways to fund that, to find the right people, to get the right people in the right places. The biggest challenge for the office specifically to deal with the growth is dealing with getting our staff a little bit larger and the right people in the right place.
I guess the most important thing in running the county clerk's clerk's office is the management of the people, that's first. Keeping and retaining the kind of people that we need. But more than anything is to try to develop a culture that we serve the people of Wise County. That's what the county clerk's office job is there to do. We're there to serve the people. That's going to be my mission statement. That's the thing that I feel is very important. The other thing that we've got to do, as all three of these people have said, we've got to maintain the records. We've got to learn. We've got to have new ways and better ways and more efficient ways in order to maintain those records where it's easy for everybody or anybody, because like we say, these are the public records. You and I, we're the public. We need to make sure that we grow in a way that's efficient for everybody.
Thank you. Let's give these candidates a round of applause. Thank you all so much. And our last set of candidates are for County Commissioner Precinct 4. If you all would please make your way up.
Now we know who we are. I'm just wondering.
All right, gentlemen.
We got gold here?
And we have got one video conferenced in. Everybody, can you see us okay and hear us? Are you good? All right, very good. Okay, so for this round of questions, you will get a 1-minute introduction, and then we've got 5 questions for each of you. And so with that, let's see. Y'all help me remember. Where did we start last time with introductions? On the front. How about we start in the middle this time? How about that?
I'm in the middle?
Yes, sir.
Okay. My name is Mike Ritchie. I'm a conservative. Mike next to Mike.
I think it's on. My name's Mike Ritchie, and I'm a Republican Christian, I guess you could say. My family raised me that way, and I raised my family that way. I'm a businessman, not a politician. I was born and raised in Chico, and married my wife 42 years ago. We moved to Paradise. I've lived in Paradise 42 years, and Precinct 4, as far as that goes. In 1978, I started a business and a family. Got 3 children, now I've got 7 grandchildren. I started my business with a backhoe and a 1-ton truck. It cost $17,000. So you know what I had. I started out, oh, I got 1 minute, that's all I got. Oh, I forgot about that. But I grew my business.
Here, Corey, you'll be holding the mic. Pretty good?
Yes, okay. Hey, first, just say thank you real quick to event organizers for allowing me to participate tonight remotely. I greatly appreciate it. My name is Colby Shaw, and I want to be your next county commissioner for Precinct 4. As a successful business owner, I have extensive experience in employee management, budgeting, cost control, and growth. I volunteered in numerous civic, municipal, business, and youth organizations, leading many of those as committee chair or board president. I have good working relationships with community stakeholders, business leaders, and business customer clients. As a candidate for commissioner, I prepared for this position extensively. For almost a year now, I have attended almost every county commissioner court meeting. I've been to county commissioner workshops, departmental meetings. I've met with commissioners, and I've also met with county department heads. I am a fiscal and social conservative. I'm a proud Republican. I believe in the rule of law, and I fully support our first responders. I'm an open and honest communicator, and I believe in government accountability and transparency. I am the most prepared candidate for this position, and I'm asking for your vote on it. Thank you.
Hi folks, my name is Corey Lane. Wow. This is the first time I've had a chance to actually meet Mike Ritchie in person. We're campaigning against each other and I've never had a chance to shake the man's hand. I will tell you I know nothing about Mike, but I met his mother this evening. And I gotta tell you, if she's responsible for this guy, I think you're gonna do pretty good. She's very nice to meet you. Colby and I have known each other for quite some time. My wife and I, and they're sitting right out there, my wife and my boys are sitting out there. We moved to Bridgeport, Texas about 15 years ago. And I'm gonna tell you, it's really by divine providence. We moved from Spokane, Washington. I was born in Amarillo, but I grew up in southern Idaho because they took me out of here screaming, I'm sure, in three-legged pants, you know. But I grew up outside of here. 15 years ago, we moved back. Should have done it 30 years ago, quite frankly. I believe that God gives people talents and abilities they're supposed to use for the benefit of others. And I believe you should give back to the community from which you take a living. So for the last 15 years, I've served as mayor and various other civic things. I believe that I want to serve you as County Commissioner Precinct 4. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. All right, Colby, we will let you take this first question. And the question is, this is from the Wise Republican Party, what is the annual budget of the County Commissioner's Office and how many total staff do you believe it will take to operate it?
Well, that's a great question. Well, the county's budget is a $70 million budget, but for Precinct 4, Precinct 4's budget is $1.42 million for this upcoming year. Now, what's interesting about that is, you know, employee costs take up $942,000 of that. So they've been operating over there with 9 employees in the county barn, and they've been doing it quite efficiently. In fact, this last year, they finished the year with a $700,000 savings. So I think that the amount of employees that we got there currently is the perfect amount. What we currently do now is do a lot of Sorry. Okay.
Repeat that last statement.
Okay. What I was saying is there's current 9 employees at the county barn. That's what they operate. There are a few positions for some part-time employees if needed, but we really haven't needed that there. And I think we can continue to operate with that and operate within the budget that's been set for this upcoming year.
Okay. We will let Corey take that one next.
Thank you. Colby has already mentioned the facts of that, the answer to that question, the budget and where it's going. Here's the concern. Municipal or government budgets have always been a little bit different than business type budgets. Business budgets operate based upon what you need, and you then generate sales and revenues to cover what you need. A lot of times in municipal budgets, and I had to learn this when I became mayor of Bridgeport, they're basically based on how much money you have, then let's go spend it. Now, I happen to believe that the county commissioners that currently serve and our county judge have done a really good job. Otherwise, I would have said something about it a long time ago. Now, I'm not part of that discussion. Most of you aren't either. So trying to tell you what I think they need, honestly, I don't have an idea yet. I will when I walk in the door. Just like I figured it out when I became the mayor, I had to learn. And the idea is to find good people who know the information and ask them. I learn fast. I'm one of those kind of guys that kind of looks outside the box. And I think that providing the leadership necessary to give the people what they need to serve is what we need to do.
Well, it's tough to go third on this one because they've got all the number questions already answered. Colby was correct with all the numbers on the money that is raised just for Precinct 4, which is, you should think about that, it's 215 miles of road in Precinct 4. And you got a budget of $900-something thousand that goes to the people to run it, and you got $500,000 left to fix roads. There are plenty enough employees. The employees, if you get to needing some help, you borrow them from another precinct, and that helps, so we don't have to, the budget doesn't have to go outrageous, so we have to get people, and they have to keep people on staff that are too many for, you don't have nothing for them to do. So it is important that we borrow from each other, so that helps save some tax dollars for all precincts.
Okay, Corey, I believe you go first on this next question, if I'm keeping count correctly. Do you believe that the role of a county commissioner, and this is from Wise County Conservatives, do you believe that the role of a county commissioner is to rubber stamp a county judge, or are you willing to debate an issue that you feel is strongly in the best interest of the people, even if perhaps it's not a popular opinion? For example, I'm going to give you an example on that. Sometimes federal money that comes from the current occupant in the White House, perhaps, may come with strings attached to it. Would you be willing to refuse federal money if it were not in the best interest of your county? Sometimes block grant money comes with strings like zoning, you give up control of zoning in your county in order to accept that money. Would you be willing to debate these issues and perhaps take an unpopular stance?
The answer to that question is a defiant yes. I have a reputation of being willing to stand up for the things that I believe in. I proved that when I was the mayor. I just happen to believe that good, open, honest debate among smart people is a way to get the right answers. But trying to say that I would refuse the money, the answer is I might, if there's strings attached that is not beneficial to the county. But I certainly wouldn't go against the majority of the county commissioners and the judge. If we debate it open and honest and transparently, and the group decides the best interest for the county is one thing, I'm not going to be the odd guy and stand up and complain about it. I will be very public in my opposition, but when it comes down to a decision made by the board, I think it's important to stand up for that decision. So while everybody kind of knows that I'm willing to fight for what I believe in, I'm also willing to build some bridges because I'm not the only guy in the room, and I'm certainly not the smartest guy in the room. I just bring a new set of eyeballs to an old set of problems, hoping I can affect that decision.
Well, that comes with a maybe. I would have to talk to my people, constituents out in Precinct 4. You pointed, is something wrong?
No, you're fine. Keep going.
Look, does that count against me? I thought she'd want me to stop. I apologize. But no, I'm a representative of the Precinct 4 people. And when I have something of that nature come up, I would get everyone's that I could get a hold of and tell the people in Precinct 4 what all the contingencies were. And I would get their opinion because my vote would need to be what the contingents of my precinct would be. I would want to vote the way they feel that what we need to do, not what Mike Ritchie feels.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Since we lost Colby, so how about if I go to the next question, and then if we get him back, he can answer that question. Is that fair? Okay. Because the next question kind of goes along with that one. And it is from the Wise Republican Women, and it says, what practical steps will you take to elicit the advice from and concerns of your constituents? And let's see, Mike, I believe you would take that one next in order.
Well, I would have an open door policy, as I just said on the last question. I represent the people of Precinct 4. So my doors are open 24/7. My phone is 24/7. I will have a website set up that's just for Precinct 4. I'll have a Facebook page. You can get a hold of me anytime because that is the most important thing that I can do as commissioners, represent you and listen to get your feedback on as I go to vote for what is in your best interest.
As an elected elected official, especially serving on a larger scale, I'm talking about a region where you just aren't next door to everybody in a precinct. It's important to recognize that the decisions that you make affect the entire precinct, but most people that live there are only concerned about what's happening in their doorstep, at their home, how it affects them where they live. That's the important part of listening to people. It's not so much what's good for the precinct as a whole, but what's good for that one individual, because that's what matters to them. And I think that in fact, Mike said that, listening to the people, what concerns them specifically, and then using that information to make decisions on a grander scale. I think that's what leadership is about, and I think that's what servant leadership and representation is about.
And Corey, we will start with you on this one. What applicable experience do you have to serve as county commissioner?
You have 3 candidates running for office tonight, and all 3 of them are good people, okay? I've met them, I know these folks. Everybody wants to serve and do the best you can. I grew up, and I have for the last, ever since I was 17 years old, been involved in political activism in some fashion. I've worked for the Republican Party in several different states. I moved here 15 years ago. I've been a Cub Scout leader. I've been a Lions Club member, and I was the mayor of Bridgeport. And I'm a business owner. I own Furniture Supercenter. There's a plug for you guys. I own a furniture store and have for the past bunch of years run an independent business. So I've seen budgets, from government budgets to business budgets to management of people to all the different things that affect each and every one of us. I think I'm the only candidate.
Recording in progress.
That's cool. Now I'm in trouble. That's Big Brother listening in, I think. I think I'm the only candidate that brings the experience of business ownership and municipal government experience to the table. And for that, I think I'm qualified to serve.
You got it. You already answered that, right?
No.
My bad.
Well, when I did my introduction, I told you I wasn't a politician, and I'm a businessman. I believe that the county business is what the Precinct 4 is. I think it is a very large, deals with a lot of money, a lot of your money, so I believe it is a business. I've served as president, CEO, CFO, chair. I did everything there is to do that you can do for little kids, that's for sure. I've been the commissioner of sports at Paradise for 14 years, not now, but I am that. But I have ran businesses. I've been the chair, board chair. I've been board, school boards. I've been board members and executive committees. Lord, I can't sit there and think about all the things I can, but she just stopped me, so I get to tell you.
Thank you. Okay, Colby, welcome back. Can you hear us okay? Awesome. Okay, I'm going to give you the 2 questions that you missed, and I'm going to give them to you in the order that the other 2 gentlemen had, all right? So the first question is, do you believe the job of a county commissioner is to be a rubber stamp for the county judge, or do you believe that it's important for county commissioners to debate issues that maybe you feel strongly is in the best interest of the people, even if it may go against the others? And the example I gave is perhaps if there's a debate about accepting federal money and it has strings attached to it, like block grant money sometimes has zoning restrictions that are set, and the county cannot change that, but they have to accept those in order to accept that money. Would you be willing to take a stance that may be different from those others on the commission?
Sure, yeah. So, yeah, I absolutely will debate issues when I feel I need to against the other commissioners and the county judge. I will take a stance on things. What you're referring to and what you're asking about is the American Rescue Plan. The county received $13.5 million from that plan that they will be receiving. They received half of it and going to get another half. And And, you know, there's a thought that there could be, you know, strings attached to that money. Well, you know, my thought on that is, yeah, the system is broken, okay? But if we decide that we do not want that money, where do you think that money's gonna go? They're just gonna distribute it to other counties, and guess who's still gonna pay for it? It's still gonna be the taxpayers of Wise County paying that federal tax bill. So in this instance, with the American Rescue Tax Plan, or the American Rescue Plan, I do believe we should accept that money, like they have already made that decision, and they're utilizing that money to fund things that the taxpayers of Wise County need.
All right, and then the next question after that is, what applicable experience do you have to serve as county commissioner?
Could you repeat that? I didn't understand one of the words.
Yes. What applicable experience do you have to serve as county commissioner?
Okay. I think you're asking what experience I have to serve as county commissioner.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Well, you know, I've got a long background in business management. 30 years in management, big box retail to store, corporate management. I mean, I was a regional manager over 80 stores across 6 states. So I've got a lot of experience, but I think the one thing that really sets me apart from the rest is long before I made an announcement that I was going to run for county commissioner, I made a commitment. I made that commitment to myself and to the taxpayers to learn as much as I could about the role of the county commissioner. And what I learned was this job is a whole lot more than asphalt and potholes, so much more. And I feel like I am the most prepared candidate, and I'm ready to take on the job.
Okay. And for the next question, I'm going to let Carrie come from the Patriot Society. Did I miss one? Did I get them? Yeah. Okay, are you sure? Okay, y'all stop me because it gets a little confusing up here.
I'll be happy to answer again.
All right, Carrie, go ahead.
Thank you for coming. We're experiencing growth in Wise County. We need growth in Wise County in the form of business to help offset some of the tax burden for those of us just have houses. What are your plans for the growth in Wise County business-wise?
Who's going first? I think Colby's up.
Oh, Colby, you're up. That's loud.
Okay, I apologize, but I did not understand that question. It was something about growth.
We need growth in Wise County in the form of business to offset some of the tax burden on residents. What is your vision or plans for the future for that?
Well, that's a great question, and I do think the county does play a part in that. You know, the county has partnerships with communities in our county, and you know, we do have some economic development. I think that we need to continue to expand our infrastructure in the county to encourage businesses to move to Wise County. You know, broadband infrastructure is one of the big things that we're trying to increase in Wise County. Those kind of things are going to attract businesses to come to Wise County, and not necessarily in the unincorporated area, but in the incorporated areas, you know, the cities, Bridgeport, Decatur, Chico, and Paradise, and all these. So, you know, I will work as a partner. Partnerships are a big thing to me, and I want to be a strong community partner. That's one of the reasons I've been going to city council meetings in Precinct 4 with all the cities, is to learn how I can help those cities. So that would be my answer.
Thank you. Growth is coming whether we like it or not. I mean, you can go around and look at all what's going on. And the farm to market roads down in Paradise were never designed to carry the thousands of cars that are going to be traveling on them. We've got challenges staring us in the face, folks, and it's coming whether we want it or not, but we also have to plan for it. So, business development, you're saying how do we deal with economic development? Providing the necessary infrastructure to be able to accommodate those businesses allows us to compete county by county by county. But there's something else that's really more important. What put my family in Bridgeport wasn't because it had nice roads, it was the quality of life. We moved here because we found a community that was close-knit, that was honest, that was a place that we could raise our kids. Just because we have people come here to move here, we cannot lose sight on the quality of life issues that we have to offer other people. And that's just something, we can talk about economics all day long, but what makes people want to stay here is the quality of life that they have.
Well, I agree with both candidates. To get people here, we got to have stuff for them to do. We got to want them to come, and we could help work with the cities. I think that's the most important thing, because most businesses come to the cities. They don't come out on 2123 by my house. They come to the city. So we're going to have to work with the cities and get them some recreational stuff that you can bring a family to, that you really want to come out and enjoy your time in Paradise, and may work some stuff at the lake. I work with the city council lady there at Paradise, the mayor, and we went over stuff about how Paradise needed to increase their recreational for the kiddos in some parks and some runways. You do that, people come. People in by the Texas Department of Transportation, there's going to be over 100. Well, it's said 102, but it's going to be by then, by 2040. Over 100,000. Okay, yeah.
All right, you forgot the yellow one, right? That's okay. Okay, last question, and I believe that Colby will take this one first. All right, what practical steps will you take to elicit the advice from and concerns of your constituents?
Okay, well, first and foremost, I've already talked about it, community partnerships. I believe partnering in our communities to develop strong relationships. I have been out on the campaign trail now, going door to door, talking with constituents, talking about what their concerns are. Obviously, I will be available. I'm open in honest communications. I'll be available by phone and email 24/7. I will proactively communicate with people via social media. I plan on Facebooking with them, taking questions. But strong community partnerships, I think, are the key to being successful in this role. And, I've been that in Bridgeport for a long time, and I'm just broadening that out within Precinct 4. And it will not stop once I'm elected. You will continue to see me in these meetings and being in the community and being concerned with what our citizens have to say and taxpayers.
Thank you, sir.
I cannot be.
That's it. You got to stop. All right, Corey.
All right.
Having an open and honest ear for people's concerns is important. When I served as mayor of Bridgeport, my phone would ring at 3 in the morning or 2 in the morning with somebody that would say, "Can you get the neighbor's cat to shut up?" Okay? Little things like that were important to them. Okay? You can't say, "Why are you calling me at 2 in the morning?" It's important to them. So you do something to fix the issue, however small it might be. But being able to be accessible to people, having a phone that you'll actually answer instead of going to voicemail, having social media that's available that people can contact the folks that they need to, including me. I just happen to believe that when you're part of the community, you become part of the community. You reach out to people and say, "What's bothering you and how can I help?" That's what I'd like to do, is be able to help, to serve those people as a representative. Now here's the kicker. Some people want us to do things, or are going to want us to do things that may not be beneficial to the county. So do they still have a right to have their voice heard? I believe they do. Even if I wouldn't agree with it, they still have a right to be heard at the Commissioner's Court.
We had a similar question to that earlier about open door policy, and my door has been open my whole life. My open door policy when I ran my business, my door stayed open, and I made the people all the people, not to get all of them, but most of the people, I would have them come in and talk to me about their families and what they're doing, so I could help better make them successful. And in my opinion, that was most important, to find out why they want, what success was to them and where they wanted to be. In that, I want to know what's the success of the people of this county want. I don't only want to go to precinct 4, I want to go to precinct 1, precinct 2, precinct 3, because what I vote on affects all of them. And I want to go to all them districts, all them city councils, all the city meetings, the fire department, the sheriff. I want to listen to all people, because when I vote, it affects everyone, not just the precinct 4.
Right. Okay, we have one bonus question. Do y'all mind if we do one more bonus question? Okay, last one. And let's do 30 seconds on this question, because it should be really quick and easy. Okay, let's see. Whose turn is it to go first? Is it
I'll
Corey?
go whenever. It'll make it.
Mike, you want to go?
I'll go whenever you
Okay, all right. What is the proper role of government?
The proper role of government, I want to be last now. I said if there was an easy question, my mother was sitting on the front row and I was going to let her answer the question for me. The role of government is to not be in our business mainly. We're supposed to run our families and do the right things, and sometimes we got to get the role of government to come in there to monitor, but they sure shouldn't be dictating to us.
Colby.
Me?
Yes.
Okay.
Colby, yes, sir, you're up.
Yes, okay. I agree with Mike there. I mean, the role of government should be limited, okay? But it should be there for the people to assist the people. But certainly, they should not be, the government should not be mandating things to us, and they should be limited as much as possible.
I believe that the essential role of government is in reality public safety. Fire, police, safe roads, water, sewer, things that are not easily done by the private sector. If there's something can be done by the private sector, most of the time it's done more efficiently, it's done with less cost, and usually done better, quite frankly. So limited government is a party platform that we all have agreed to. We signed on to that platform, so we agree with that. So limited regulations, limited government. When the government gets out of the people's business, they're free to do the things that are necessary to take care of their families.
All right. Thank you, gentlemen. Let's give them another round of applause. Before Karen comes up, I just want to repeat the spiel that I gave you at the last forum, and that is, if there were candidates that you have decided that you want to support, please reach out to them. Please help their campaigns if you can. Please donate to them, even if it's $5, $10, $15. That makes a difference, right, guys? Candidates, that helps. It is tough to run a campaign, and we are so appreciative of men and women who step up to run for elected office, and we thank you all so much tonight. And thank you all for coming, and I'm going to turn it back over to Karen.
Thank you, Jill. You did an excellent job. Thank you for investing your time and for telling your friends and neighbors and for everybody showing up. We have 2 more forums. We have one next Thursday, January 20th, and another one the 27th. We'll be having the House District 64. We'll be having county judge and also county chair. So please, this was very exciting. We had a really good turnout. Precinct chairs, keep on doing all the good work that you're doing, getting the word out. Thank you for coming. Please go talk to your candidate that you're interested in. Take care. Have a good evening.